Good afternoon and thanks for joining us. A 24-year-old from Little Pine First Nation has been arrested and charged with murder. Cut Knife RCMP responded to a report of injured individuals at a home on Little Pine First Nation around 8 o'clock on Monday night. Officers located 2 injured people, one who was taken to hospital with serious but not life-threatening injuries. Another adult male was declared dead by EMS, 43-year-old Tyrone Cakem from Little Pine First Nation. Officers arrested 24-year-old Keenan Starr from Little Pine First Nation. He's charged with second-degree murder and aggravated assault. Starr appeared in North Battleford Provincial Court on Wednesday. Saskatchewan RCMP continue to investigate after a traffic stop resulted in the seizure of drugs and a weapon. Last Friday afternoon, RCMP spotted a vehicle speeding near Frenchman Butte and attempted a stop. The vehicle tried to flee but slid into a ditch, with 2 occupants escaping into a tree line. Officers contained the area and located one female suspect who was arrested without incident, but the other suspect was not located. A search of the area found a loaded rifle hidden in the trees, crack cocaine and methamphetamine in the vehicle, which was determined to be stolen. 24-year-old Shania Heathen of Saskatoon faces multiple charges, including possession for the purpose of trafficking. She's scheduled to appear in provincial court today. The third person who has been charged in connection to the quadruple homicide on Carry the Kettle First Nation earlier this year made his first court appearance in Regina today. RCMP say a 17-year-old male has been arrested and charged with 4 counts of first-degree murder. Tracy Hodomani, Sheldon Cuisance, Shauna Fay, and Terry Jack were all found dead in a home in February. The youth, who can't be identified due to his age, is also charged with the attempted murder of a 5th person who was at the residence at the time. 18-year-old Darius Reset and a 15-year-old male have also been charged with 4 counts of first-degree murder in connection to the case. The youth is expected to make his next court appearance on December 19th. RCMP are investigating 3 large dogs taken from a yard in the RM of Willow Creek, north of Melfort. The dogs are a Central Asian Shepherd breed, which is uncommon, extremely valuable, and hard to come by. It's believed they were stolen sometime on December 2nd. The dogs were wearing GPS collars. They are microchipped and have identification tattoos. Anyone who knows where the dogs are is asked to contact police or Crime Stoppers. Premier Scott Moe is encouraging police services in Saskatchewan to crack down on drug possession. Speaking at a conference earlier this week, Moe reminded people having drugs on them is illegal, and he wants to see drugs out of communities, regardless if they're a dealer or a person using drugs. But experts say decades of research shows treating addictions and mental health issues as a criminal justice issue won't have the outcome Moe wants. After 50 years, the war on drugs hasn't worked, but Moe says the goal is to avoid extending a person's life of addictions.
We got kids that are seeing that it's okay to carry these things and use these things. It's not. It's nothing short of murder in our communities.
It doesn't make sense to keep doing the same thing and expecting a different outcome.
Police in Saskatchewan began changing their approach to drug use in 2022 when laws were amended to reframe substance use as a health and social issue, reserving resources for offenses that pose a risk to public safety. The Saskatchewan Health Authority is looking to hire more security guards at Saskatoon hospitals. The Health Authority posted 14 security officer positions, 8 at Royal University Hospital and 6 at St. Paul's. 5 of those jobs appeared online Monday, just days after a psychiatric patient walked into St. Paul's Hospital with a sawed-off shotgun. The SHA says the postings are part of ongoing recruitment efforts and are not connected to the November 27th incident, adding that recruiting staff can be a challenge. Chris Clark has worked as a hospital security officer for 35 years. He says violence on the job has increased and that nearly every day he seizes a weapon from someone entering Royal University Hospital, from knives, guns, brass knuckles, bear spray, to even a blowtorch.
When I started in the department, it was stuff happened, but it didn't happen very often. And now things are happening like daily, hourly. Officers, staff, it is daily, several times a day. Somebody in our province is getting assaulted.
The job postings for the security officer positions list the pay at $22 to $24 an hour, or about $45,000 a year. SEIU West, the union that represents security officers, says without better pay and stronger safety measures for security guards, recruitment challenges will continue. Premier Scott Moe and the provincial government made significant changes to the cabinet today, with 5 MLAs becoming ministers for the very first time. Michael Uyghur is named the Minister of Community Safety, which is a new position. Chris Beaudry is the new Minister of Energy and Resources. Darlene Roden becomes the Minister of Environment. Kim Gartner is the Minister of Highways. Sean Wilson is the new Minister of Sask Builds and Procurement. 3 MLAs will be leaving cabinet: Travis Kasich, Daryl Harrison, and Colleen Young. Meanwhile, David Merritt was reassigned to Minister of Agriculture. Ken Cheveldayoff added Labor Relations and Workplace Safety to his portfolio, and Warren Kading will switch from Trade and Export Development to handling SLGA. That means there are now 18 ministers, an increase of 2 who were sworn in at a Government House ceremony today. Premier Scott Moe says he wanted to even out the number of working for each minister, giving them a better opportunity to strategize.
And I think allowing for all of our cabinet ministers now to have one, I would say, a little bit more balanced workload, and which will give them the opportunity to have an eye to, working on the broader strategy on, how we're positioning ourselves in each of the files as we move forward and look into the future.
This was the first cabinet shuffle since initial appointments were made following the 2024 provincial election. Saskatchewan NDP is calling attention to the provincial debt. Today in Saskatoon, Carla Beck showcased a check for $1.7 billion payable to billionaire bankers. She says it's intended to illustrate taxpayer money, which goes towards covering the provincial debt.
We are better than this. People in this province deserve better than this. This is a rich province. We don't have a revenue problem. We have a mismanagement problem. We have an 18-year-old government that has run out of ideas and frankly was never that good at managing the debt in this province.
Premier Scott Moe says the provincial government is always aiming to balance the budget. He points to Saskatchewan as the province with the lowest debt per capita. It's almost like, Jeff, somebody, I guess, around the borders of the province turned on those snowmaking machines, and they just haven't turned them off yet.
Well, they're starting to turn them down. Let's go that far, because a lot of the snow is starting to move towards the eastern side of the province, John. As you can see, we certainly see on our satellite radar shot here, a lot of the most active areas that has moved off towards Manitoba. But there is a little something that may give us a bit of a skiff of snow as we make our way into the latter part of the afternoon, early evening. But for the most part, we're going to be done with the snow, but just starting with the very cold Arctic air.
Artificial intelligence is becoming part of daily life, and experts say Canadian municipalities are gearing up for a major tech shift. Alison Bamford has more on how cities are putting AI to work.
Saskatoon Transit is working to get these buses back on the road. Small repairs now to avoid major failures later.
Instead of running a bus until which point in time a check engine light or a stop engine light would appear, we're now able to get ahead of that.
Helping them get ahead is AI.
Here's the fault code.
They successfully piloted the software in 2023. Today it analyzes real-time data from bus sensors and catches maintenance issues early.
Left unchecked, that bus would have been dead on the road.
The information is tracked constantly, cutting costs on parts and saving hours of unscheduled maintenance.
This becomes one more tool in the toolbox in helping us.
23% of Canadian municipalities use AI. Another 31% are actively evaluating how to incorporate it.
We're seeing a lot of municipalities kind of in that learning or experimenting phase. They're still trying to understand in what capacity they can use AI.
ChatGPT or Microsoft Copilot are common starting points for municipalities, but many have advanced using it for predictive maintenance, chatbots, and understanding traffic flow.
There is a bit of a fear that if they do venture into the AI world, that they are going to do something that will end up upsetting the citizens or putting them at risk.
Privacy, data protection, and cost are concerns holding back some municipalities. But this expert says don't be afraid.
Just do it in a planned way that allows for management of the risks.
And taking those risks could pay off down the road. Alison Bamford, CTV News, Saskatoon.
When we come back, Melfort's getting into the holiday spirit. Jasmine Pelche finds out about some of the activities going around town this Christmas.
We're with Shannon Marshall, Recreation Coordinator for the City of Melfort, to see what recreation opportunities are coming up this season here. So what are some things that you are dying to share with the public?
So we have a lot of really awesome things going on in our community throughout winter. I mean, we know about the museum and the Christmas Village with some really awesome lights displays, but we want homeowners to have a chance to showcase their lights too. So we have what we call the holiday lights going on right now in Melfort. So we have open registrations. Anybody that has a light display, 1 strand or 100, we want everybody to register. So if you register your home on the holiday lights, then you're entered into the Twinkle Tour map. So it's actually Google Maps that's created of all the homes with festive lights in our community. And we have an upcoming Twinkle Tour on December 22nd, which is pretty exciting. It's our 5th annual, and each year it continues to grow. So we have more homes registered every single year. Every address registered also gets entered in to win a local business gift certificate, which is pretty fun. Some incentive just to enter. But then the night of the Twinkle Tour, people start at the KVC. They can grab hot chocolate to go. There's cookies. Santa and Mrs. Claus is on location too. Grab tour maps, and we have lights bingos, and then hit the town to take in all the festive displays. So it's really great.
I heard there's also Skate with Santa coming up. Could you give any information on that?
Yeah, you bet. So we actually have Skate with Santa this Sunday, which is really awesome. It's at the NLP Arena, and it's in support of our local Salvation Army hamper program. So admission is by donation. We just ask people to bring a toy or a non-perishable food item to enter, and then you hit the ice, lace up with Santa and a bunch of his friends. It's a really fun time. Free for kids, treat bags. It's really good.
Is there anything else going on that we missed?
Yeah, so one new thing with the Twinkle Tour this year, we actually had a local business, Ripley Ford, got on board, and they're going to run what's called the Sparkle Shuttle. So they're going to run 2 vans. We have open registrations. People can sign up. So if you maybe don't want to drive in the evening or want to go with a group of family or friends, it's going to be really fun. You can register, and there's going to be van tours and they're going to do all the highlight homes. So the big light displays, that'll be the Sparkle Shuttle.
Are any of these things weather dependent?
No, so Skate with Santa, obviously indoors. Twinkle Tour, because you're driving around in vehicles, that makes it really easy and accessible too. And because we have vans running, if you maybe don't want to run your vehicle and it happens to be 30 below that night, it is going to run regardless.
All right, final question. Anything you want to get across about these activities while you got the opportunity?
You know what? I think the biggest thing in Melfort is just we want people to be engaged and feel festive in the holiday season, and we just want to reach as many people as possible. So activities for all ages, that's the biggest thing in our community.
Great. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Jeff will put the shovel away and give us the weather forecast after the break. Plus, a new drug treating postpartum depression gets approved in Canada. So, Jeff, I was trying the extremely scientific method of measuring how deep the snow was, and it was, I don't know, up to the maybe ankle or so. And so, I don't know, is that about 5 to 10 centimeters over the last maybe 48 hours?
Without knowing your foot size and the extrapolations therein, probably. I think we've had in, Prince Albert and Saskatoon, basically a little over 5 centimeters of snow. As I mentioned yesterday, much more so down in southern Saskatchewan, but certainly we've gone through about 3 waves of snowfall, and it has all added up to some shoveling. And the last system is moving out. There's a little something that's sliding on through, so we might still see a little bit of snow, but not of great consequences as we make our way into the evening hours. And you can certainly see in parts of the United States and British Columbia, they're still dealing with rain. And then, of course, you get into some places in Montana where it's freezing rain or a rain-snow mix, so it ain't pretty. Let's take a look at our future cast. So there's that system sliding out, and as we make our way into tomorrow. There still might be something in southwestern Saskatchewan. They could be like down Medicine Hat in Alberta and then down into sort of the Maple Creek area. We might see more in the way of substantive snow. So don't rule out more snow for southern Saskatchewan. So look at these numbers overnight. Ouch. Minus 29 in Spiritwood, minus 30 in the Battlefords, minus 28 in Canada Lake, minus 28 as well in Birch Hills and Rostern. Nipawin, partly cloudy skies, and minus 26 in Melfort, cloudy and minus 28. Let's move on to Friday and see what that looks like, and it looks cold. Temperatures don't really change all that much from the overnight temperatures. Minus 25 with mainly sunny skies in Spiritwood, mainly cloudy in the Battlefords, minus 27. Sunny in Canada Lake, minus 24, minus 25 in Birch Hills with mainly sunny skies, a bit more sunshine in Rostern and a high of minus 25. Minus 25 as well in Melfort with mainly cloudy skies, mainly sunny conditions in Nipawin, and the daytime high of minus 23. Here we go with Prince Albert. Well, slight chance of some flurries tonight, as I mentioned, a little system sliding on through, but we don't expect a lot in that respect. Minus 27 degrees, wind gusts up around 40, so those minus 27 degree temperatures will feel like they are in the minus 30s. And then as we take a look at tomorrow, temperatures don't really jump up. Minus 24 degrees, sunny skies, winds out of the west 10. Still a risk of frostbite, even with just a light wind at 10 kilometers an hour. And then as we take a look at the 7-day outlook for Prince Albert and area, mainly sunny skies on Saturday, 26. Then back to seasonal temperatures, minus 10 on Sunday, minus 7 on Monday, minus 9 on Tuesday with a chance of some flurries, then back to some cooler than seasonal temperatures on Wednesday, 40% chance of flurries on Wednesday, and 1 week from today, back into the cold, minus 23 degrees with mainly cloudy skies.
And I'm wondering, is there a more scientific method of measuring the snow depth?
Than using your feet? No, that is the cutting edge of scientific, inquiry.
There you go. Maybe that old yellow school ruler that had for every centimeter.
Don't push that new technology on me.
There you go. All right. Well, as governments prepare to break for the holidays, the New Brunswick Health Minister is sharing his best harvest in 25 years with dignitaries from around the world. Laura Brown has the details of this sweet homemade treat.
It was a beautiful October day when we spotted New Brunswick Health Minister Dr. John Dornan take off his tie and head up to the roof of the Legislative Assembly, carrying beehives?
The bees didn't mind a new place to hang.
He's harvested honey for about 25 years, usually with the help of his family back in St. John. But this year, after getting elected, Dornan wondered if he could bring the bees with him to Fredericton. The Speaker of the New Brunswick Legislature said, sure.
So it's kind of exciting. It's a chance for me to share apiculture with people in New Brunswick.
It turns out the bees have enjoyed their change of scenery. The queens, named Anne and Britannia, led an extremely productive harvest. And last week, their sweet success was officially bottled up. The entire process happened right here at the legislature.
Downstairs in the basement, in the kitchen, and we did the bottling with the help of some employees.
Called the Speaker's Honey, the two hives made 250 bottles, and some could land all over the world.
And offered some to the ambassadors, the visitors that are coming to visit our Legislative Assembly.
They're hibernating now with a few thousand bees around each queen in each hive. And so we'll leave them there for the winter. We won't disturb them at all. And come spring, we'll open up the hive and we'll start all over again.
A queen bee typically lasts about 4 years, which, of course, is the same amount of time as an MLA's mandate. So their plan is to continue harvesting as long as they can. Laura Brown, CTV News, Fredericton.
A drug already approved for use in the U.S. and in Europe will now be available for women in Canada. It's a first-of-its-kind medication to relieve mood swings or anxiety that can occur after giving birth. Genevieve Beauchemin on the significance of Health Canada's approval.
For some new moms, delivering little bundles of joy actually comes with a debilitating condition. Now, Health Canada has approved zuranolone, sold under the name Zurzuvae, for treatment of moderate to severe postpartum depression.
It's exciting that there be novel therapeutics offered to women postnatally.
Hormonal changes can induce a chemical imbalance, and 1 in 5 women experience symptoms including anxiety, inability to bond with the baby, feelings of worthlessness, and at times can be very severe. In some cases, lifestyle changes and other already available treatments can be effective.
Psychotherapy can have a very positive and quite rapid impact when it's well designed and when it's well targeted.
Doctors say in some cases, zuranolone could yield faster results. A study found that after a 15-day course of Zurzuvae, 27% of women reported no depressive symptoms.
The difference is night and day. Like, I could cry happy tears.
Zurzuvae has been available in the U.S. since 2023. It hasn't proven to be a miracle pill for all, and there are side effects including drowsiness, headaches. But for women like Stevie Robertson in Illinois, it has brought back some of the joys of motherhood.
The dread I would feel, like when I woke up to a baby crying, I didn't feel that dread anymore.
But the price is high. It costs $16,000 U.S. for a 15-day course of treatment south of the border. We'll have to see what happens here. Geneviève Beauchemin, CTV News, Montreal.
Brought to you by Saskatchewan Union of Nurses. Thank you to Saskatchewan's 11,000 registered nurses.
All right, Jeff, 9 professional cyclists have successfully launched a glider plane using nothing but human power.
Cool.
There it is. Leading the way was Tour de France star Florian Lipowitz. They needed to generate a combined 6,500 watts while racing down a 1,500-meter runway, all while connected to each other like a dog sled with a long cord attached to the glider. This successful launch happened in Mallorca, Spain, and this is a world first. Jeff, are you much of a cyclist yourself?
Not me, but I'm actually surprised this hasn't happened before. I got to tell you.
I have to say, like, I can't imagine, you know, dogs are good at it, but trying to keep yourself right in line, and they kind of had the counterweights behind them. There's so much stuff that could go wrong there, and I would be.
But it went all right. It went right.
It all went right.
Yeah.
Imagine being along.
Glide away.
That's going to do it for us. CTV National News is next.